Hi, I'm Corina Cheever, a farm planner with the Whatcom Conservation District. Welcome back to our third episode of the Spring Virtual Pasture Tour. Today we're visiting with Michele and her horse Taylor to learn about their pasture rotation schedule throughout the summer.
My name is Michele Bennett, and I am the happy owner of 5 acres here in North Whatcom County, just outside of Lynden. We moved into the property here of April of 2018 and started working with the Conservation District. I attended my first class with them in July. And so the timing of it was perfect, and learning about the water runoff, on how much water can run off of a barn, and how to rotate your pastures, and all about the soil conservation and soil management and pasture management, and it was really great. The best practices I think that we've done is we've changed out the rain gutters on the barn. I've learned about how to some pasture rotation. Using the manure spreader has been fabulous. I've used it at least once, sometimes twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall, to help fertilize the pastures, and so they're starting to respond to that. Katie told me how to build a real inexpensive manure bin behind you. It's out of pallets, which was great, and so it's been really an educational experience working with you guys. Previous owners, I don't think they ever put anything back into the pasture, so it was just take and take and take and don't give back. So it was not very lush at all, and the soil tests that the Whatcom Conservation District did really showed that it was very depleted in a lot of the nutrients. And so at first I had great aspirations of growing my own hay and baling it and everything. I've kind of changed those over time, and now I think I'm just going to go ahead and keep them on a pasture rotation and see how that works. I did the track paddock actually the first year. I had when we purchased the property, I had a friend of mine that had known about the whole track system, and when I told her about the piece of property we had just purchased and that it just had basically a 2-acre parcel of pasture, she goes, "Oh, you've got to do a pasture paradise," and I didn't know what it was. And there's a book out about it, and there's Facebook groups that talk about it, and it's done all over the world now. But it's really interesting, and it's so what I did the first year was I just did the interior, I basically did a fence line inside the fence line, and then I would put temporary fencing in between the areas and kind of section it off and I'd leave them on there for a week and then move the fencing over and over again. That got old, but I did that for a couple of years. And usually by late summer, I could eliminate the fencing altogether because the grass isn't growing anymore, and I don't have to worry about rotating them as much. This spring, I decided to go ahead and install more permanent fencing and really try and be consistent with the pasture rotation. And so we're going to give that a try this year. Post-grazing, what I've done so far has been to take a chain harrow, and I go in afterwards and knock down anything that he's left behind. And then what I'll start doing now that we're really in the growing season and he's had a chance to start kind of picking and choosing what he wants to graze is I'll start hooking up my brush hog and mowing the pasture after him so that way everything has a chance to regrow evenly. And that'll probably help kind of knock down whatever he leaves behind too.
Thanks for joining us today as we learned about some great sound horsekeeping practices on Michele's farm. And join us next month for our 4th Spring Virtual Pasture Tour. And as always, you can visit the Whatcom CD webpage to learn more about our farm planning services.